Hi, today we're going to look at a common problem that can happen with the NuTone IK15 entry intercom system inside station. It's a small problem, but it's kind of an annoying problem when it happens. I looked through all of the used IK15s that I had, and I tried to find one that had the problem, and this one I thought did when I pulled it out of the box, but now it's not acting up, so we'll have to pretend just a little bit. A common problem that happens on IK15s has to do with the push to talk button. So the way this is supposed to operate is when it's in the at rest position, the button is in the top and it's in the off position, and then when you want to answer the front door or talk to the front door, you push the button down and you speak, and then the system activates, and when you release it, it's supposed to spring back up just like that one did, and then the visitor at the front door can reply. What can happen to these is the switch that this button is attached to gets dirty and it hangs up. So when you push it down and you let go, instead of snapping back up like it's supposed to, it stays in the down position, and then the system is on all the time and it doesn't work correctly. Sometimes when you let go, when they're really sticky and gummy, you'll let go and maybe it'll slide up a little bit and then it hangs up and it's just all wrong. This one was doing that when I took it out of the box, but now of course that we're doing the video, it's not doing it. So I'm going to show you how to clean this and free it up and make it work like it's supposed to. As you can see on the back, this is an IK15 that came from someplace, sometime. It's not brand new, it's used. And you can tell that because it's got the remnants of wires and blue wire nuts on the red wires, which are the power wires from the transformer, and on the green wires that are from the front door speaker. So this is just some miscellaneous used one that I happen to have. What we need to do is we need to get to the switch that's on the front side of the circuit board. Now the switch is in this area right here in the center of the board on the other side. You can't really get to it from like around the corners and things. You can't really get to it from underneath this way very well, and oftentimes the part that where the cleaner needs to go in has a little cap on it, and that prevents it from getting the cleaner inside. Maybe sometimes you can maybe spray it down in here a little bit if you aim it just right, but that's not the best way to do it, and I guarantee you're going to waste a lot of cleaner and make a big mess. If you have one of these and you're going to do this, you don't necessarily have to disconnect all the wires, because there should be enough length that when you remove the two screws, one up here at the top and one here at the bottom, and you take it away from the wall, you should be able to flip it around and get to the back. And it's only 16 volts, so you're not really going to get shocked or anything like that. If you don't do something really silly like start jabbing at it with a screwdriver or something, you're not going to damage it in any way. If you're concerned about all those kind of things, you can always go to wherever the transformer is located, in your garage, in your basement, in your attic, in a closet somewhere, wherever it was installed, and disconnect one of the two wires so it shuts the system off. The little circuit board is held to the plastic faceplate by 3 screws. There's one here in the lower left-hand corner, there's one here in the lower right-hand corner, and there's one here kind of in the middle towards the left. And we're going to take all 3 of those screws out so we can lift the board out of the unit. Now, of course, as I show in all my videos, you're going to need to put the screws back in. So you need to have some kind of little container to put the screws in so you don't lose them. And then you're not one of those people that send me an email or call me up and say, I was trying to fix my IK15 and I was doing everything just like in your video, except I lost the screws somewhere. Don't be that guy. Find something to put them in. So once you take the 3 screws out, what you'll see is there are 3 holes in the board, here, here, and here, and those 3 holes sit on the end of the screw posts that come off the back of the faceplate. Now we're going to lift the board out of the faceplate. So all you have to do is grab the board carefully on the sides and wiggle it just a little bit, and you can flip it up. This one, the wires were hooked under the speaker flange just a little bit, but once you flip it up, you can flip it over and you can actually see the switch. Oops, wait, if I hold it the right way, you can see the switch right here in the middle of the board. This is the switch that the talk button moves up and down, and this is what gets gummy and sticky inside, and it doesn't want to return. If you look here, the brown part is the body of the switch, and then you have the little blue stem right here. This is the part that the button attaches over right here on the end, and there's actually a spring, so when you push it down and let go, the spring pushes it back up to the up position. All you have to do is take your Deoxit D5, which is what we recommend for all types of switch cleanings. This is not the world's most technically difficult thing to do, so if you have sort of a little bit of general purpose contact cleaner, that will be okay also. However, you don't want to use WD-40, you don't want to use alcohol, you don't want to put graphite powder in it, you don't want to blow it with compressed air, you don't want to do any of those kind of things because those things aren't going to help any. You have to have some type of switch or contact cleaner, and this is what we recommend, and you can order it on Amazon. And it's not very expensive, so might as well get a can. As always, we're going to take our rag, and we're going to put the rag under the board, because we don't want to get spray and runoff all over the wall or on the carpet or on the hardwood floor, because then you're going to get yelled at when someone comes home from work. So you take your Deoxit D5, and what you want to do is you want to spray it right here in the top part of the switch where it's a little bit hard to see, right in this area where the blue plunger goes down into the body of the switch. Now, the body of the switch is about 1 inch long, and if you count carefully, you'll see there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 contacts on each side. So there are 12 contacts in the switch altogether, and as you move the switch, it makes different connections. So we have to get the cleaner to go all the way down and come out the bottom the best that we possibly can. So all we're going to do is take our little red tube, and we're going to spray a little bit. And I don't know if you saw that or not, but as I sprayed it, it bubbled up down here out of the bottom, which means it went all the way down. Once you've done that, then you take your finger and you work it back and forth. And if yours was really gummy and sticky, this one really wasn't that bad. You should feel that it should improve in how easily it moves and how easily it springs back. Listen for the spring. Like that. Once you've cleaned it once, since you already have it apart, you might as well spray it a little more, because the spraying part is the easy part, and then you work it back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And actually, as I'm doing it here now, if you look right down here on the bottom of the switch, you can probably see there's little bubbles and little bits of Deoxit D5 being pushed out of the little slot down there as the plunger part of the switch pushes the cleaner down inside the switch. Once you think you have it cleaned well enough, you will have a certain amount of overspray on the board. That's inevitable. It will evaporate on its own. It will not damage anything unless you have totally soaked it. If you're concerned about it, you can always leave it like this, hanging off your wall for an hour, and it will evaporate on its own. I personally am not concerned about it, so I'm not going to do that. Now we have to reassemble it. When you reassemble it, what you have to do is find your switch now, or your button. Now, when you take the board out, the button falls out because it's not held in by anything other than being connected to the top of the switch with the little ears right here. See the little ears? And this is the part right here in the little slot where the blue stem has to go. So what you have to do is you have to turn it around and you have to put it back in the hole like that, and you kind of hold it in the up position with one finger, and then you take your board and you flip it around the right way, and you kind of have to look inside and line up. And it's hard to show you this. What I'm doing is I'm looking down in from the side right here, and you can see the ears on the button, and you can see the blue stem on the switch, and you sort of fish them together so the ears are on either side of the blue stem. And once you get it lined up, you maneuver it around so the 3 holes in the board are sitting on the ends of the 3 screw posts. Now at this point, I'm pretty sure that I've got it lined up correctly, but I am going to check it. But before I do that, I'm going to put 1 screw in, because I can guarantee you if I go to flip it over now, or if you go to flip it over now, you'll jostle the board around and then it'll fall out. Then you got to line it all up again. So what am I going to do? I'm going to go to my little container where I put my screws, because that way I didn't lose them, and choose one of the screws. And I usually put it in the top middle one first. And we'll tighten that down a little bit. And then we're going to flip it over, and we're going to make sure that it works. Hear that? That's the snap of success. It's the snapping noise that the button makes when it returns solidly to its up or off position. Once you make sure that's lined up correctly, all you have to do is put in your 2 screws in the bottom corners, and you don't need to over tighten them, you just need to snug them down. Once you've done that, it's all reassembled. You can flip it back over. Now what I would do at this point is, if the system is still live, you didn't disconnect the wire from the transformer to shut it off, you can test it as it is now. If you did power it down by taking the wire off the transformer, you need to go and hook that back up now so it turns back on. And then if you have a helper, that's easier, send them out to the front porch, make them push the button so it rings, and then talk to them and release to hear the reply, and talk to them and release to hear the reply, and tell them that's quite enough, and if you don't get off my front porch, I'm going to call the cops, and then you're all done. All you have to do is screw this back onto the wall. Problem solved. Very simple. It's a really common problem that happens on this switch assembly on IK15s. Sometimes I've seen some of them that while the switch is sticky and gummy, also the surface on the plastic is also somewhat sticky, and that's usually in installations where the inside station is somewhere installed near the kitchen. In those types of installations, what you can also do is, when you have this apart and the button has been removed and this panel is just free and open, you can take a little bit of cleaner like 409 or Windex or some other light cleaner, no paint thinner, no lacquer thinner, no acetone, none of that kind of nonsense, just some kind of general purpose water-based cleaner, and you can clean up the plastic. And if it's a little gummy in here and the button is a little gummy, clean all of that up also, because the stickiness on the surface of the plastic can contribute to it not giving you the snap of success. That's it. That's how you clean a sticky button on your IK15 inside station. I hope you found this interesting and perhaps helpful. If you do, please give it a thumbs up on YouTube, because that always helps. There'll be a banner right here that shows you how to subscribe. Go to our YouTube homepage, click on the bell, and when you click on the bell, click on it to receive all notifications, and every time we post a new video, you'll get a notification and you can watch it. That's all for today. See you on the next video.